Hello my dear viewers. In this video we are discussing about the second stotra which belongs to the first sukta of the Rigveda Mandal 1. Let us start. First of all, we discuss introduction. This is the second stotra of the Rigveda. The first stotra explains the importance of Agni Deva in Yajna, but this second stotra, which explains the eternality and timelessness of the Agni Deva. Agni is a timeless, revered, and which is respected by both old and new sages or Maharshis, and is the divine mediator who ensures the connection between sacrificers and the gods. Details of the stotra. Maharshi Madhuschanda Vishwamitra, Devata Agni, Chandas or meter is Pipilikamadya Nikrod Gayatri. Swara or tone is Swara. The second stotra is Agni Purvebir Risibir Idhyo Nutanair Uta Sa Devana Iha Vakshati. Let us analyze the word by word meaning. The first one is Agni, which means the fire deity, often symbolizing the divine knowledge, transformation, and the medium between human and divine realms. Second word is Purvebir, which means by the ancients, referring to the sages or Maharshis of the past age. Third word is Rishibhi, which means by the Maharshis or Rishis, enlightened, and the poets who composed the Vedic stotras. Next word is Idyaha, which means praiseworthy, worthy of worship. Agni is revered in both ancient and modern times. The next word Nutanai, by the new age sages or Maharshis, referring to the present generation of the priests and the seekers who continues the Agni worshipping tradition. Next word Uta, also moreover, indicating continuity in the reverence. Next word Sa means he, refers to the Agni. Next word is Devan, which means the gods, divine beings who receives the offerings through the Agni. Next word is Iha, which means here, in the place of sacrificial space or earthly realms. The last word is Vakshati, leads, conveys, or carries. Agni acts as a messenger between human and the gods. The translation of the above stotra is Agni is the Lord of light and energy who has been praised and celebrated by the both ancient Maharshis and is also worshipped by present ones. So this Agni deity conveys or carries or brings the gods to the place of sacrificial offerings or divine realms. Because of the Agni deity presence in both the earth and in the heaven. Here Madhuschanda Maharshi praised the Agni for bringing all the gods to the places of Yajna for receiving the part of their Havirbag or oblations. In this stotra, Madhuschanda Vishwamitra Maharshi says that Agni Deva is revered and worshipped by both the ancient and the modern Maharshis, which means it indicates the antiquity of the Rigveda. Sayanacharya commentary: as the opening deity of the entire Rigveda is Agni, is both the symbol and functionary of the Vedic ritual. Sayana, the prolific 14th century scholar and commentator, interprets this stotra through the ritualistic and theological lens and emphasizing the Agni's unique role in mediating between the worshipper and the divine realm. Let us discuss the detailed analysis of the Sayanacharya commentary. The first term of the above stotra is Agni. Agni as a central ritual deity. Sayana identifies Agni as a sacrificial fire, which means Yajna Agni, and the mouth of the gods, which means Devanam Mukham. He is both the physical presence and the metaphysical principle in the ritual framework. The Agni conveys offerings to the gods. Without him, the sacrifice is ineffective. Finally, Sayana notes that Agni is not only a recipient of offerings but also the carriers, which means Havyavahana, and transmitter of the prayers. Sayana states that Agni Purvebir Rushibhi Stutaha Nutanair Cha Stuyamanaha Yajnasya Mukyatvata, which means the Agni has been praised by the former Maharshis and is being praised by the current ones because he is the central to the sacrifice. This emphasis on Mukyatva, which means primacy, shows how Agni's role transcends individual rituals to become an eternal functionary of the cosmic order, which means Rita. And the second part of the Sayana commentary is Purvebir Risibhi and Nutanair Uta. Sayana underscores the unbroken lineage of Vedic Maharshis. He draws upon Smriti and Shruti reference to explain the authorities of Vedic knowledge lie in its continuity. Agni being praised by both past and present sages or Maharshis implies that the ritual system is timeless. Adikalinair Rishibir Yatastuto Agni Tata Nutanair Api Stuyate Iti Parampara Siddhihi. This idea not only validates Agni's status but also affirms the Vedic system's transhistorical relevance. The use of the term Uta connects the past with the present seamlessly. The third part of the above stotra is Idyaha. Sayana interprets Idyaha not just as a praiseworthy but as a worthy of being ritually praised. He invokes Mimamsa principle here to praising the deity is not merely an act of devotion but the functional aspect of the rite. According to him, such stuti, which means praise, serves as an auxiliary act, which means anga, to the main ritual. Agni Idya nature is thus essentially for the efficacy of yajna, linking praise to the performative success. Sayana might even suggest that failing to praise Agni properly could impair the ritual outcome. The fourth part of the stotra is Sadevam Iha Vakshati. This is theological heart of the stotra. Sayana explains that Agni once invoked brings the deities to the sacrificial arena. This is not metaphorical. In his view, the physical ritual causes the presence, which means avahana, of the divine beings. Sayana comments as follows: Agni Devanam Prapti Karanat Isah Sadhanaha. That is, Agni is the causal agent through which gods become manifest at the altar. The Vakshati, which means will cause to come, is key here, showing Agni's executive role. Sayana also links this to the idea of stotra efficacy. The utterance of this stotra itself can invoke Agni, who in turn invoke the other deities. Hence, the speech, fire, and the divinity are intricately interlinked. Philosophical aspect of Sayana commentary. While Sayana remains primarily ritualistic, he occasionally hints at deeper symbolism. Agni as a light of knowledge, which means Jnanagni, as in Vedanta, or as the inner fire of consciousness, appears briefly. Yet, Sayana avoids dissolving Agni into a purely abstract principle. For him, physical fire, when approached with the mantras and the oblations, is the divine. This echoes the Bhagavata view that the deity becomes present where sincere ritual is performed. The theological aspect of the Sayana commentary. Sayana further discusses the theological necessity of the sacrificial fire as the intermediary between human and divine realm. In this view, Agni functions not merely as a symbolic agent but as a cosmological principle that sustains the link between the two worlds, the terrestrial and the celestial. He elaborates as follows. Sayanacharya quotes that Yajamanasya mantrartasya devatasu praptaye sadhanatvata agni kartavyatamaha, which means because Agni is the means for conveying the intention of the sacrificers to the deities, his establishment in the ritual is of the utmost necessity. In other words, the Yajmana, which means the sacrificer, relies on Agni as a translator and the transporter of his sacrificial intention, which means mantrartha, to the gods. Thus, Agni is both an agent and an essential precondition of the sacrifice. The precise pronunciation of the mantras, the purity of the fire, and the accurate execution of the offerings all converge in Agni's body. He is simultaneously the altar and the carrier and the sanctifier. Finally, conclusion. It encapsulates the timeless significance of Agni, revered by both past and present Maharshis, that indicates the continuity of the tradition. The Agnideva serves as the divine bridge or a guide and the purifier, ensuring that the human prayers reach the gods while also illuminating the inner self. Agni as an accessible deity, he is directly present in every fire, making him the most approachable of the gods. The role of mediator of the Agni. Agni functions as a divine messenger and who ensures that sacrifices, which means yajnas, reach the gods, thus sustaining the cosmic order, which means Rita. The Agni is the essential medium for offerings, oblations, and ensuring the divine blessings. Callings upon the Agni means calling upon the all the gods. As Agni is the carrier of offerings, Avyavahana. In spiritual practice, Agni represents mental illumination, guiding the aspirant towards the higher knowledge. This completes second stotra of the first sukta. Thank you.